Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of your daily environment. And today, instead of going to the news, I wanted to comment on 2 emails that I got today. So the first one is a friend emailed me that on the Daily Show last night, they did some stuff on plastic. So let's see if this comes up. I'll do the first little bit of it. I've watched this already, and I believe that you can hear him. I hope so. Okay, not sure of how much of the video I'm allowed to show, but the story is that if you don't know, now you know, Asian nations are rejecting Western trash. Almost everybody knows, or a lot of people know, that China used to accept a lot of our possibly recyclable stuff, and China stopped accepting it. When they did, a lot of it would go to Malaysia in this story and others, and now they're not accepting it. And so now America's faced with, we got a lot of waste that we're producing, and no one's taking it, so we got to keep it ourselves. And that's what most of the story is about. Now, the story is 10 minutes long, and at the very end of it, he says a little bit about, this is 9 minutes into it. So here he's talking about the idea of conserving, of using less plastic. Okay, so he's making jokes about it. I'm glad people find humor in this. You know, if you look at my my blog, you'll see that I've done stand-up, open mic stand-up a couple times, 8 times, 7 or 8 times. And I've been thinking about people, like, it's useful to bring comedy to things. Comedians can talk about things that other people can't, but I find that they can talk about things, but they don't actually influence change. I don't think he's kind of suggesting, and he's maybe, people would say he's raising awareness, but I don't think it's actually leading to changing behavior, that of people actually reducing their plastic. Like somewhere else in this, I recommend watching the video. It's pretty funny. He talks about maybe bringing knives and forks with you, but in weird ways that aren't really serious. And this is kind of, I think he's trying to make it funny because people don't want to do it, or he thinks that people don't want to do it, and he's suggesting that people don't want to, or he's suggesting it in a way that makes people feel like they don't want to do it. But as I said yesterday, and as I say over and over, what people get wrong more than anything else about the environment is that they think it's a chore, that's something people don't want to do, but once people try it, they enjoy it. So I like that people find humor in things. I don't like that they sacrifice effectiveness. That they talk about all the stuff that's going on, but not what we can do. And people aren't really changing their behavior in a really small way. And they keep pointing to governments and institutions and big corporations and everybody else and other countries. It should happen there before it happens here. Not realizing that's like saying not having fun. I shouldn't have fun because someone else should have more fun. It's joyful not to pollute. I hope people try it out and discover that for themselves. So another email that I got was, now here I took out the name of the place. There's a friend of mine who's a scientist, and she got an email, and she wrote me and said, they're moving slowly, but at least they're moving. So in an effort to support sustainability, and what's blacked out here is the name of the place where it is. The following will take effect at the food and beverage location starting Monday. Water bottles are going to increase to $1.50. And they're going to have water bottle filling stations, also known as sinks. People have had sinks for a long time. I don't know why people weren't refilling through the sinks to make things more sustainable. And takeout containers, they're going to be an extra 25 cents in order to, I guess, keep people from using disposable stuff. Okay, I'm a big fan of that. I like that. I want to point out, this is scientists. Now, you don't know this, but I'll tell you that this is a ecological laboratory that's about eco stuff. And if people think that knowing the science leads to changing behavior, these scientists have known longer than anyone, and they know the science probably better than almost anyone. And it's taking them now to make something maybe 50 cents more expensive. to make something that they shouldn't even, I would think that this stuff would not, that water bottles would not even be on sale because people would be doing this already. And I want to offer this to anyone who thinks that sharing scientific knowledge, I'm a big fan of sharing scientific knowledge. You will find no greater proponent of science than me. But to think that that will result in people changing behaviors, you only have to look to the scientists. When I was beginning this podcast, or before I began this podcast, I was speaking to a graduate student in the Earth Center at Columbia University, and we spoke about environmental stuff. And he said, we do want to do these changes, but some changes we can't really do. For example, he said, there's a place in Australia that's has some geological formation, and it's only in Australia. So if I want to do this stuff, I have to fly there with my team and bring the equipment to measure the stuff there. And I said to him, and I didn't think about this too long, but I just said, are there people in Australia in your field who could do something similar? Could they go and measure it for you? And he thought about it for a second. He goes, yeah, I guess they could. And this is someone who has dedicated his life to protecting the environment, to conserving the environment. And maybe it's a mix of, if it's free for him, he doesn't have to pay for it. But maybe it's a mix of people don't really, I don't know what it is. But as I said, I'm a big fan of science, but thinking that spreading science will change people's behavior, it's not how things work. I'm a big fan of leadership and walking people through experiences. That's why I want to get very well-known people, very influential people on my podcast. I've said many times, if you've heard me, like Oprah, LeBron, Serena, Madonna, Sergey, Larry, Elon, these are the people that other people look to as role models that they follow, and not just follow, but they are in lots of people's communities. And I think community motivates people much more than anything else. Anyway, I wanted to share two of those things. So as Trevor Noah, I recommend watching that clip on plastic and seeing what's going to happen, because now the US is going to have to keep that plastic. I think it's actually one of the best things that can happen in terms of leading people to realize we got to not get so much plastic because we're going to be swimming in it. I think it's effective if you create garbage to have to deal with the garbage yourself. And then seeing how scientists also don't change their behaviors. Okay, that's day 3. Looking forward to next time.